Hey, hot tubbers! Welcome to the podcast Tub Talk with the Hot Tub Lady, recorded live here on this channel. I am Jackie Johnson, your host, and today we have a very special guest sitting right beside me, Mr. Bernard Sweeney from Fargo, North Dakota. Yay! Hey, Bernard, how are you doing today?
Oh, doing well, Jackie. Appreciate you having me on here.
Well, I'm super excited that you came to personally see me, and you're like live in my studio.
Yes.
I think you're my first real guest.
Yeah, this is a lovely studio. Really is.
It's cozy.
Well, yeah,
It's very, very tight, that's for sure. So,
it's awesome.
Anyway, welcome. I'm really super glad you're here. And today we're just going to talk about, the value of a hot tub and if it's a good purchase or not. So, why don't you give us a little bit of history, why I even asked you to be here?
So I actually used to sell hot tubs up in Fargo, North Dakota.
Yes.
And I actually met you because I'd come down to help you guys out with a sale one time with my then boss.
Yes.
And gosh, that was some pretty memorable.
Yeah, we had a good time.
That was a lot of fun.
We definitely.
But I got to learn a lot from you and all the folks down here. And it really is great to just kind of branch out of your own town, see kind of how other folks interact with their customers, to help them really find what the best fit is. I think that's where I learned the most on helping folks really understand what is going to be the best hot tub for you. As soon as I could help them understand that, my job got a lot easier.
Oh, for sure. And, I've been doing this for almost a quarter of a century now, believe it or not. Way longer than you've been around. But anyway, that's how I got to know everything I got to know was just helping out other dealers and visiting other dealers in the area and helping sell and that type of thing. And the interesting part about it is if you get to a good dealer, they 100%, everybody's got the same goal in mind, is they want to get you into the right hot tub. They aren't just trying to sell you a product because it's there to sell. They want your life to improve, every day made better, like they say. And just, it's about having a great experience, not just making the sale.
Right, yeah. They're going to ask you a ton of questions on why you're even in the store, why are you looking at a hot tub? Mm-hmm. What even has you going down this road? And then, they're going to dig a little deeper on where this hot tub is going and who's going to be using it.
Right.
And it's funny because now that I'm out of that hot tub industry,
right,
every single week I still have people approaching me asking me about hot tubs.
Oh, and I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah.
You were super good. You were one of the best that I've had the privilege of working with. But the fact that, here's a little known secret that you don't know yet. You don't ever get out of the industry.
No.
You never get out. Once it's in your blood, you are 100% here for the rest of your life. So that is definitely the case. But tell me, before we start jumping into our questions, I mean, what are some of your colleagues asking you? I mean,
yeah, every time I'm with them, folks are asking me, what hot tub should I get? How much should I be spending on a hot tub? They'll ask about there's always someone asking about the new flavor of the month.
Right.
Oh, what about this hot tub? What do you think of this? They're always wanting to see my opinion on it, and I'll give it to them straight. And now that I'm not
making your living doing this,
yeah, I'll give them the honest choice, and actually it comes off a little more blunt nowadays.
I bet it does.
Just because I'll say, listen, I know what hot tub you should get, and you think but I know.
Right.
What you should be in.
And you're no longer worried about going out over somebody's budget, because we always know what everybody should buy, mm-hmm. but that's not the right hot tub for everybody.
Right.
I mean, not everybody can. We don't want to put anybody in the poorhouse, putting them in the perfect hot tub. So,
well, of course, yeah. Right now, one of my coworkers, when he came in to buy a hot tub for me, Jackie, he was like, well, I just want to buy a 2-person hot tub.
Of course he did.
I'm like, of course, yep. But you're also 6'5".
Right.
And I know you have 5 kids. So, I know you want the 2-person hot tub. Let me show you the best 2-person hot tub. It ended up being the 8-seater.
Right.
But I really just want you guys to enjoy it. Now they're in there every single week.
And I'm going to say this, and I know you say this, in the most expensive hot tub you ever buy is the one you don't use.
Right.
And everybody comes in, and this is something that those of you that are listening on the podcast or watching today, if you're looking to buy a hot tub and you come in and you tell the hot tub salesperson that you're looking for the 2 or the 4 person, what that says to us is not necessarily that you're looking for a 2 to 4 person. What that says to us is you are looking for the least expensive hot tub that you can buy for the money. Mm-hmm. And at least it's most of the time that's how I take it. And there's nothing wrong with, if you really do need a 2 or 4 person, you're almost better off saying I'm pretty tight on space than to come in and say I need a 2 or 4 person hot tub.
Right. And when I remember asking people, and some people were more open with me than others, but when I'm asking them the questions on, who's going to be using this, regularly, mm-hmm. how are you going to be using it? That really helps me kind of narrow down what hot tubs to show you. And a big thing that I think happens is there's a lot of hot tubs out there.
There's a huge amount of hot tubs out there.
If you visit 1, 2, even 3 stores, you're going to be confused. So if my job is, after asking those questions, that I only show you 2 or 3 hot tubs, it's really going to make it a lot easier for you to kind of narrow down, okay, if my budget's this, or this, we can help narrow it down that way, just by understanding exactly how you're going to use it.
For sure. And that's, let's maybe just jump into these questions, sure. because we're going to kind of cover all this as we're going. But, today's topic is 100% trying to help you get the most for your money when it comes time to purchase a hot tub. And, hot tubs are anywhere from $3,500 all the way up to $25,000 these days. And, that's a big deal. And there is a perfect hot tub. My personal opinion is everybody should have a hot tub and everybody should get a hot tub. And, it used to be you could even get some used ones for $500-$600. That is no longer the case. Things have definitely changed in that world. But, I think everybody should have a hot tub, and a hot tub is better than no hot tub. I'll also be the first one to admit that, because I could never not have a hot tub. But anyway, so let's we have about 7 questions that I'd like to get over, and then any of you guys in the chat please shout out and ask any questions that you have. We'll be more than happy to answer those as well. Let us know where you're watching from, and let us know what hot tub you have if you got one. So we'll go from there. But the first question I got is, should I buy a new or a used hot tub? I mean, what is your experience with that? What do you say on that?
Of course, people like to consider that used one just for the budget. Mm-hmm. It was very budget friendly when we had used hot tubs to go around.
Right. Before COVID, buying a used hot tub was a good investment.
Yep. And actually, it became a lot more attractive when a dealer could go through that hot tub, fix anything that might be a problem, and then you'd have mm-hmm. that peace of mind that, nothing's going to, should go wrong with this hot tub. But now that the market's changed a little bit.
A lot of it.
That used hot tub got really expensive.
It did. It really did.
So we're making that jump to the new one, and maybe with some financing to help, might work better for a lot more people now.
Well, the one thing about a new hot tub is that you get a full warranty with it. Right. Warranties do not transfer from a used hot tub to a new hot tub. So even if you find one that's a couple years old and somebody's just like, hey, I'm moving, I got to get out of this, you want this hot tub, or, trying to sell it with their house or something along that lines, warranties do not transfer. I don't know one manufacturer that does that. So you now no longer have a warranty. And so like on the High Life series hot tubs, it's a 10-year warranty on the shelf, 5-year against leaks, and 5 years on all the equipment. If you no longer have that warranty, you are taking a pretty big risk there as well. I mean, typically most hot springs don't need a service call during the warranty period anyway, but that is something that you're giving up. And prior to COVID, you could really get a good deal. You could really get, a good 5-6-year-old hot tub for half of what you would buy a new one for. That is no longer the case. Just like used cars, there's such a demand and there's such a shortage. I can tell you for a fact that I have bought new hot tubs or used hot tubs from customers just because we need a product so bad for more than what they bought it for 5 or 6 years ago. And so, being a dealer, we do go through it. And I know you guys used to do that up in Fargo as well, but we would go through it. We would check everything. We had like a 35-point inspection, and we would go through that, and then we would fix anything that was wrong. And we would give a 30-day warranty just so that people had a little peace of mind and the ability to go back to a dealer and say, hey, this isn't working, or it's leaking, or because when they bounce down the highway, things happen as well. When you move it from point A to point B, you've got that going on. So if you want to buy a used hot tub, I'd say Facebook Marketplace is a really good place to look anymore. My suggestion would be, if you're looking for a used one and you're not buying it from a dealer, is I would 100% make sure that actually has water in it, it's hot, and there's no leaks. That I wouldn't even consider buying a used hot tub from a private party without seeing those three things. I've seen way, way, way too many nightmares, and then you're just stuck. And there's a lot of stuff, and this has become more and more prevalent, the ability to get parts for used hot tubs. That has been, you've been out for a little bit, and I don't think you realize how hard that actually is. I mean, we used to trade in anything at any time, because we always knew we could get it fixed. And that is no longer a deal. I mean, you can't, there's a lot of companies that are, especially if it starts getting to a point where it's a certain vintage, you cannot actually get parts for that. So that's something I would definitely, before consider buying it, I would call the local dealer and say, hey, can you even get parts for this particular model?
Right. And you know what? That's where maybe you got to be a little more particular on the brand of hot tub you're looking for.
For sure.
You want to make sure that that dealer still is carrying that line of hot tubs, so that if something comes down the line, you can at least find a part to replace whatever it is that might break.
And that's 100% true. And like Watkins products, they all have a 20-year parts guarantee. So if it's at least 20 years or newer, you're definitely going to be able to get parts for it. And for me, that's total peace of mind. So I would definitely be looking at the Hot Springs, the Limelight, the Tiger Rivers. Those are actually getting up to being 20 years or older. Free Flows Fantasy, something like that. You're going to get parts for that for 20 years. They actually publicly announce that. So that's a big deal. There's a lot of brands out there that you can't get parts for. There's a lot of brands that are going belly up right now, and you wouldn't think that was the case, but they're just smaller. They just can't keep up with the demand, and they can't get the parts that they need.
Some of those brands aren't really built for our climate.
No.
So buying a used hot tub of the new flavor of the month 5 years ago.
Right. There's a reason nobody gets rid of a hot tub because it's working.
Right.
I will 100%. Nobody ever gets rid of a hot tub because it's working. That's definitely a huge thing. And again, like you were saying, there were some really good financing deals and that type of thing. And, for example, our location is actually doing 5 years, 0% here through Mother's Day. So look around, and that's just our location. I can't speak for everybody else out there, but sometimes you can really get a good hot tub for a very little bit down, and then you get a full warranty with it, and that's worth a lot. I'm not saying don't get a used one, but just think really long and hard before you do so. I would consult with the dealer. I would actually consult with the dealer in your market to see if they are even willing to work on that. And I'd be really careful. There's a lot of import stuff coming in and stuff that's getting sold online. I've been seeing a lot more of it. We actually made a mistake ourselves, and there was a line that we brought in that we probably shouldn't have. We have since gotten rid of it, but it was very problematic. So that's just not something that you want to ever happen. And hopefully you'll have a good dealer that's super honest with you. So that's a big thing. We're going to go over here and check in with the comments. You guys are being pretty quiet today. I'm not seeing a whole lot from anybody, but maybe I'm going to check the comments. Let's see. Oh. The joys of going live. Kayla says, hey, what's happening? Kayla, good to see you. Glad you're here. I didn't even talk to you today, but I am super glad that you have actually shown up today. So if anybody else has any questions, now's a good time to ask. We will definitely answer any questions that you may have about purchasing or owning a hot tub today. So question number 2, do hot tubs increase a home's value? So we're both in super hot real estate markets right now. Sioux Falls is nuts. I mean, absolutely insane. I live here in Watertown. It's insane. I know Fargo is.
Yeah, just as nuts. It really is.
I mean, like I just talked to a real estate agent that bought a hot tub this weekend, and in Sioux Falls, South Dakota right now, there's 297 real estate agents, and there's 72 active listings. So is it a seller's market? I think so. I mean, I do think the sellers are definitely definitely winning at this point. But with that being said, the question, do hot tubs increase a home's value? I'm going to let you start first and see what you have to say, and then I'm going to...
Right now, homes are selling anyway.
Right.
I think a hot tub would definitely be one of those things that I would say they're portable, right? So if I were selling my house, I don't have to leave that hot tub there if they're not going to pay for it. Because you know what? There's some people that they might not see that value right away.
Right.
When they got so many other things on their mind, okay, I want a fenced-in yard with a deck and all this. Maybe they weren't expecting to have to see a hot tub, or maybe they don't know the condition of that hot tub without actually using it.
Right.
If someone was going to buy my house and they wanted to test my hot tub, I'd let them try
for
it
sure.
out. They'd buy it.
I mean, for sure. I mean, and you'll get more money out of the house if you do that. So in that way, shape, or form, yes, they kind of increase the home's value, and it's incredible how much this has flipped again in the last 5 years. I mean, when you were selling hot tubs,
it did increase the value. It was a huge commodity for folks that it was definitely the one that would be the tipping point on buying.
Right. It would. I wouldn't say that you got what you put into your hot tub. Now, this is 5 years ago. I wouldn't say you got what you put into your hot tub 5 years ago, but would your house get picked over the other house that was on competition? Absolutely, because it had a hot tub.
Yeah, I had some customers with a Grande Cabana.
Okay. Ooh.
Yep. And it was a really nice setup, plenty of wind block and privacy, and that Cabana really just makes it like a little gazebo. But when the realtor was able to show them what that Cabana did.
Yeah, right, because you guys got to understand that cover. Those of you that listen on the podcast, I'm sorry because I'm doing visuals with my hands, but that cover just literally is on hydraulics and just lifts up, and then you climb in, and then it goes back down when you're done, and you just turn a key. It is so impressive.
You've just gotten rid of that barrier of having to run out and shovel off the cover. You've just gotten rid of that barrier of having to buy a new cover every few years, right?
Yep.
Now that hot tub's not going to be a burden. Now it's when can we use it?
Right.
At the turn of a key.
Right.
So that as long as those things can be shown to folks, that this is why we got this kind of hot tub. This is why it makes it easier. Now that value is going to ramp up still.
Yes, and that makes a huge. It does help. It helps so much on that. And now that COVID has actually happened, the inventory. So inventory is getting better depending on where you live. There are little pockets of inventory around, and there are a few places where you can actually go pick up a hot tub today. There's most places that is not the case. I'd say 80% of the U.S. is still there's a way for a hot tub. So if you have a hot tub in your home and it's somebody who's actually in the market for a hot tub, yes, you're going to get full dollar plus on that just because it's already there. They don't have to pour a pad. They don't have to run the electrical. They don't have to spend time shopping. All of those things, it really makes a big difference. So, 5 years ago, I would have said it helps, but it's not. I wouldn't expect the full dollar amount what you got out of your hot tub. Today's market, I think it 100% increases your home value. I really, really do. So, let's see what Kayla is adding to the podcast here. She says, with the way inventory was and everything in the world, would you recommend buying a tub to get into a tub or would you wait for the one you really want? Good question. So what Kayla's wanting to know is, do you just buy a tub because it's there, or do you wait for the one that you really want?
It almost reminds me of like buying a vehicle right now.
Right.
Like you can order a vehicle. It's going to take 5-6 months for it to get here, the one you really want. Or they might just have one on the lot ready to go.
Right.
So if you're not too picky on the color,
right,
chances are you're going to find the one that fits you.
Unless it's a green one, I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Are they making those still?
I haven't seen one in a while, but it seemed like every time I was out buying a car when I was younger, I always ended up with the green one because that was what was available.
Right, yeah.
So, but in my market, and I would say in the Fargo market, they're a little bit bigger markets. I don't think you're going to have to wait that long. In some of the smaller markets, you could be a good year out yet. So kind of keep that in mind. I would never buy a hot tub just to buy a hot tub, unless there is a stipulation like we do on our plug and play hot tubs, or if we do have a used one, which we don't right now, but if we have a used one that we can sell you and you want to try that and just an entry level hot tub, you can use that for a year and trade it back in with, as long as you do it within a year, and we'll give you 100% of what you paid for the hot tub. So that's a good way to do it. Otherwise, I don't.
Yeah, I actually really appreciated that kind of deal for the used and the free flow.
Right.
Because, it a lot of times folks need this hot tub.
They do.
For therapy or whatever it might be. And so for us just to have that opportunity for them to get in hot water was always a blessing. So.
Yeah, so I think in a situation like that, or in a situation that you're willing to try to resell it, or most dealers trade them in, but again it depends on what you purchase. Like I said, we've gotten pretty picky on what we'll trade in anymore, just because I can't necessarily get parts on stuff. So if you buy something at Costco, be careful. You don't know if you're going to be able to get your value back out of that. And, on that line too, is if you're buying a tub just to buy a tub, find out if you can get service for it before you buy it. I mean, that's a big deal, because they're not like cars. If you buy a car at one dealership and then, like for example, I live 90 miles away, I can drive it to the local dealership if there's something wrong with it. In worst case scenario, they'll come tow it away. Mm-hmm. Hot tubs, that's not the case. Somebody has to come to your backyard and they have to fix it. And that's a huge deal. So, Matt, let's see, he says, what's up? Hey, Matt, welcome to the stream. Really glad you're here. Glad to see you. So question for you guys, does anybody actually have a hot tub? Do you guys have hot tubs now? Are you shopping for hot tubs? How can we help? I'm looking for questions here. So I think we did that one. Number 4, are hot tubs worth the money?
It's worth the money if you use it.
Fair enough.
I think part of our job was to make sure that whatever hot tub our customer got was one that they would use. So my job is to get rid of any barrier
right
that would stop them from using it. And I figured out, with the help of the folks that I worked with, and why don't people use hot tubs? And that was Hot Springs' kind of big deal. Actually, was it needed to be easy to take care of. It needed to have a good massage, and it needed to be energy efficient.
And it needs to be easy to get into.
Yes.
So, I mean, believe it or not, when it comes time for a hot tub, the one thing you really need to think about is it needs to be close to the door. You need to have a good point of access. That may need stairs. That may mean handrails. That may mean a cabana. That definitely means a cover lifter. I'm personally at a point where I won't even sell you a hot tub without a cover lifter anymore. It's that $300 or $500 you're going to save is totally not worth it. Right. You're going to use your hot tub 90% more if you have a cover lifter on your hot tub. Yep. So if that hot tub is easy to get into, you're going to use it more. Mm-hmm. If you put it way down, 100 yards out in the yard under a gazebo because it looks pretty, you're not going to use it, right. Especially in our market. I mean, right. That's a big deal, and it needs to fit, and it needs to, you don't want to be 6'8" and your shoulders sticking out above your chest. That's just not gonna work. Right. So I personally, of course, I am the hot tub lady. Hot tubs are 100% worth the money, and I feel that they are the next home appliance that every single person needs to have. And it's not about the money; it's about what they do for you. Because hot tubs, they improve your life on every level. They allow you to make your life better. You can do more of what you love longer. And you're too young to understand this, because I guarantee you he doesn't have the aches and the pains in the morning when you lie in bed and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to move today. And it's, you do have that baby. So that baby, you know when you're tired. And I'll tell you, when I started using my hot tub in the morning when I moved up here to Watertown, I actually started using the hot tub in the morning. That was a game changer. When I started doing that, started using it in the morning, and it made all the difference.
I think a lot of people forget that. That's an option.
It is it's a huge option.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, now I added the morning routine. I didn't take away my evening routine. I added the morning routine, and I will do the morning routine before I work out, which shame on me. Now, Frank, on the other hand, he works out. He never misses a workout, and he looks like, I mean, he pulls it off. He's 58 today, so if any of you guys know Frank, make sure you tell him happy birthday today. But he looks fantastic. I mean, he's got the body of a lot of 25-year-olds that would kill to have his body. But but he does get up and work out every day. But sometimes he joins me in the hot tub. Sometimes he doesn't if he's running late. I never miss the hot tub. Never. And you know, when you're standing on concrete all day, that's a huge deal.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Makes a huge difference. Hot tubs are worth the money. And buying the right hot tub is a big deal. So can you save $3,000 today and buy one that doesn't have insulation and maybe doesn't have a circulation pump, maybe not a salt system? You can, and you'll probably be pretty happy with it for a while. But if your energy bill is all of a sudden $90, $100 a month and you can't get parts for it, the heater went out and you can't get a heater for it and it's January, now it became a throwaway hot tub. That's a big deal.
Yeah, you want to make it as easy as possible on yourself.
So you want to buy it from a reputable dealer, and you want to know that there's parts available, and you want to know all that good stuff. So that's definitely the deal there. Yes, hot tubs are worth the money. They're worth, in my opinion, buy a new hot tub before you buy a new car. That's my personal opinion, because who knows where cars are going right now. I mean, I don't even want to go there. We'll just be nice. So let's check the comments here. Kayla's got a rhythm on the At Ease system. Woohoo! We'll give you so Giovanni, welcome to the stream. So how much does the hot tub Triumph cost? That is an absolutely fantastic question, and I can't give you an exact price because I'm bound to some bylaws from Watkins. We can't give you exact pricing on a hot tub, but I can give you a range, depending on where you are and depending on what features that you are putting on that. I'm going to say you're going to be anywhere from $14,000 to $17,000 on that hot tub, depending on if you put salt on it, depending on if you put a cover lifter on it, depending on where you live and how expensive it is to get it shipped to you, a couple things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic hot tub. That double lounger is amazing. Did you ever sell the Triumph? That might have been after your time.
That came right after I left.
Yeah, so it's a great hot tub, and we sell a ton of them. I really recommend it. I mean, it fits in a tight space, and it's a really, really good hot tub. But unfortunately, I can't give you an exact cost on that. That's just kind of how that works. But it is definitely one of the premium hot tubs, and it's got everything that you're ever going to want. It's got the Tri-X filters, the 24-hour circulation pump, no bypass filtration, the full foam insulation, the removable touchscreen control. You can't ask for anything more in a hot tub, and it's going to last, and it's going to be backed by Watkins Manufacturing. So really, really good hot tub. And talk to your dealer, and if you want the absolute best price, go in with cash. Go in when you tell them you're going to write them a check. That is definitely the best, how you're going to get the absolute best price. There's a lot of really good financing deals out there, and if financing is what you need, your dealer is definitely going to take care of that for you. But a check will go the farthest, and just ask them and see what they can do for you. Mm-hmm. So I hope that answered your question. So thank you, Giovanni. So, oh gosh, what were we on? Our hot tub's worth the money. Next question: what does it cost to install a hot tub?
A couple different costs.
There are some costs involved.
First thing is getting the spot ready. I think that should be included on there. If you got a spot, on a deck or a patio, great. If not, then you need to get something together, whether that's putting down pavers or I think the best thing is just a concrete slab. And a lot of times that dealer is going to have a relationship with concrete installation company to really help that process move along.
Right. We concrete is best. 100% recommend concrete if you can do it. Now, in my market, and I don't know where Fargo is these days, but because the construction is so bad and it is so hard to get labor hired, it's very hard to actually get a concrete slab poured.
Yeah.
If you aren't on the list already in Sioux Falls, I don't know if you're getting on the list this year.
When I was selling hot tubs up in Fargo, we actually had a relationship with a guy, Steve-O.
Steve-O, I want Steve-O's number.
Yep. For a set price, he would come out and do a 10 by 10 foot pad, providing, there was no other obstacles for him to get around.
It was easy to get the backyard, and he could get a truck back there and all that good stuff.
Right. So it's very easy for when we had a customer come in, if they're curious about doing a pad, I could give him his card and say, this is what he's going to charge you, and he can, this is his availability. So I know that's changed quite a bit now. But gosh, it was nice when we had Steve on our team.
In our dealership, we're working on somebody. I think we're probably going to have him he's going to be all committed here by the end of this week. We're hoping. We're working pretty hard on that. We've had few that we have suggested in the past, but honestly, they're just overwhelmed, just like everything else. I mean, it's really a big deal. So if you can't get into concrete, you can do, and for us, it's the shortage of concrete. I mean, actually just getting the concrete from the plant is a challenge.
Wow.
It's definitely a challenge. So, but I would also say, I've done more pavers in the last 3 years than I've ever done. A lot of people have put down pavers. The big thing on pavers is you want to make sure that they don't have big, you can have a slope, but just remember there are no shimming of the hot tubs. So if the pavers have a slope or your concrete has a slope, that's going to be what your water line is in your hot tub. But you can't you can't take pavers and butt them up to a concrete slab thinking that you're just going to extend your slab, because then all of a sudden you got all this weight coming down, and it's going to come down on those pavers and push them down faster than it will on the concrete. And then all of a sudden that hot tub's rocking, and that's the quickest way to crack a shell. And just so you know, that is not covered under anybody's warranty anywhere. So but there is that. Pavers, there are like the easy pads, if you can find them. They've been pretty hard to get a hold of.
Have you sold those?
Yeah, we have.
Really?
We have sold them in the past, and I've had a lot of people actually just pick them up on Amazon or something like that. They are some work. They aren't just, you don't get to just throw them out on the backyard and.
Not so easy pads?
They're not so easy pads. You do have to dig them out and do that type of thing. We have sold them in the past. I have seen a few people do, what's it called? It's called driveway lawn something. So it's like, it looks like little egg crates where you put them down on your grass, and you're supposed to be able to drive over that, and it becomes instant driveway, I think is what it's called.
I've seen those, yeah.
So you can do that. Now,
you got grass coming up through the bottom.
You do.
Yeah.
So the thing I would tell you, and I've had people put them on pea gravel. I've had people put them on railroad ties. I've had people just build platforms out of plywood. Whatever base you put that on, you got to remember there's several thousand pounds of water coming down on that. And you do want to make sure that you are, and if you put it on grass or gravel or something like that, you're tracking all that into the hot tub. So like right now, my hot tub we're on concrete slab, but then we extended our patio with pavers, and those pavers are starting to crumble. And I'm dragging, when I go around and shut the cover, I'm walking on that and I'm pulling that into the hot tub, and that's being kind of annoying. I just need to get a rug down, but so kind of keep that in mind. I can't speak for every market. In our market, I would say a 10 by 10 pad is probably going to cost you $1,600 to $2,000-ish, depending on what you got to do for work. But
yeah, I know a couple of years ago ours was about $1,500 to put a pad in. So that's pretty reasonable still.
Yeah, so it's and you can always do it yourself if you've got the time and you got the energy to do it. You can definitely do it yourself. I have rent a mixer in your backyard and try to do that. If you can do concrete, it is best to do concrete. And the beauty of it is it doesn't have to be super pretty, because you're just gonna put a hot tub on it. Mm-hmm. You do want to make sure it's level, but it doesn't have to be super super pretty. So. Do you think we answered that question? Oh, electrical. When you talk about electrical, that's a big piece of that.
Yeah, you want a licensed electrician to get out there.
Yes.
and put a box on it. And you know what? Not every box is the same for every hot tub.
No.
So you got to be pretty particular on that. The last thing you want is the hot tub company out there filling the tub and the electrical's not ready to go. That's a big problem in the winter.
It's a huge problem.
So make sure that that's all up to spec beforehand is just that next good step to take.
Right.
And for your guys' market, what do those boxes cost? Is that included on the price of the hot tub?
Well, so on the Hot Springs hot tub, it is included on the price of the hot tub. We sell some other brands that are not Hot Springs, and no, that's an additional cost that you have to put in. In fact, I've got a gentleman that's been shopping for a little bit, and he was looking at another brand, another competitor, and he's like, you guys are super close in price, and I'm like, well, but you're getting the GFCI box with me, and he's like, oh, I can't be that much. I'm like, well, that's $500.
Yeah,
and
surprisingly not
and
cheap.
he was like, and I'm like, just call him and ask him, and then call your electrician and ask him what they're going to charge you to put it in there. And he's like, I couldn't get it less than $500.
Wow.
So it's a big deal, and they are hard to get a hold of right now. Just that is one of those things that they aren't just sitting on the shelf. It's you got to. It was really bad for a while. In fact, we had to probably deliver maybe 6 hot tubs without them. We got them within a few days. I did have one customer that was not able to get their hot tub hooked up for 2 weeks because we couldn't get them a GFCI box.
Geez, yeah.
And the first time ever in my life that's ever happened. We do have them in stock right now, but we don't have extras. I mean, we have enough for the hot tubs that we have to sell, but they're not easy to get a hold of. So kind of keep that in mind as well when you're out there searching for a hot tub. Is you need to do that. Again, in my market, electrician with me supplying the GFCI box is probably going to cost you around $1,200 to $1,500 right now. Smaller markets, that seems to be better. Here in Watertown, I bet you can probably get it done for $1,000. I don't know what.
Of course, it depends on how far that electrical needs to stretch.
Right, and what they have to go through to get to it.
Yep.
So. It definitely, it depends on the market, depends on, it really depends on if you get a licensed electrician or not. That's a big deal. Sioux Falls has got some pretty serious inspectors that require a lot of grounding. Like we're seeing like if your deck has metal in the spindles, you have to ground every spindle. Some really crazy stuff that we've never had to see in the past, but, so kind of keep that in mind as well. But that is an additional cost that you need to figure out. So you're looking at your solid surface to put it on and your electrical. Those are the two big costs, and then your delivery fee. Right now we charge about $400 for delivery. I'm thinking Vince is up there $500-600, but he goes a much bigger area than we do. Not really, but he does. He's got the whole state of North
Dakota.
Dakota.
All over that state. Yeah.
So, but those are things that you can do, and I would tell you that it is worth every penny to pay that delivery fee. You can try to do it yourself, and unless you have equipment, I wouldn't even mess with it.
Yeah, because you can get hurt delivering those hot tubs.
They're 1,000 pounds.
They're big and heavy.
They're 1,000 pounds. I've seen them fall on people.
Yeah.
It's not pretty. We used to be able to do it with 1 or 2 guys, and now it's 2 to 3. They just keep getting heavier and heavier, and they're awkward. And if you don't know how to move them
or have the right tools to move them,
right, it's a big deal. And and unless you've got a forklift or a bobcat with fork extensions, that's a big deal because you're also looking. Typically you need them to get under 8 feet of product. That's 1,000 pounds. So kind of keep that in mind as well. I'm not a big fan of delivering it yourself, and you think you can get a few buddies and a couple cases of beer. Anybody that's ever done it once will never do it again.
That's a recipe for disaster.
I can promise you, it just doesn't go so well. So our chat over here is getting a little active. So Jamie, hey Jamie, so good to see you. The smile on my face when I first sat in my hot tub was definitely worth getting it. Love my hot tub. Jamie, Vanguard, I believe, is what you have, and you just drained it for the first time. So I hope you got that all figured out. And thanks for stopping in. So good to see you. And Cupcake 17834, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. You have yours on a deck. Deck is a great place to put a hot tub. Now you do need to kind of consider how you're going to get it up there. Sometimes we can go up on their side and go up the stairs if the stairwell is wide enough. And it kind of needs to be a straight shot. If we have to do a corner, there's a lot of time there isn't enough room. Going over the railing is not fun. We don't really like to do that. We'll actually have you take the railing off. It's not something we do. It's something that you're going to have to do for yourself. We'll get it there. We'll figure out how to get it there. Sometimes we need a crane. Sometimes we need a forklift. Sometimes we need 30 guys. But we will definitely get it there, but kind of keep that in mind. In fact, there was, oh gosh, who was it? I think it was Texas Hot Tub. On Instagram, they had a reel that they just put up where they had a hot tub go up on a deck, and it was about 6 feet in the air, and they had 4 guys underneath it, and and they had a rope, and they had 4 guys pulling it over the edge, and you could see that was the only way it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I had to comment on it. I'm like, good job, guys, because that was not pretty at all. I mean, they are super heavy. You guys, it's not easy just to get those hot tubs in the backyard. And if I could tell you guys anything, just don't ask your dealer to throw in the delivery. There's a lot of super hard costs involved in that.
It's not like delivering a couch.
It's not even close. No. And it takes a lot of people, and that's a hard shift to hire for. I mean, there's a lot of turnover in that position just because it is a back-breaking hard job.
It's demanding.
And if you watch your delivery guys and you think they're doing a good job, tip them. Yeah. I mean, isn't
that funny? I mean, you tip someone for bringing you a Diet Coke
and a pizza.
Yeah,
but they don't tip delivery guys.
Not when you get a 1,000-pound hot tub brought over your.
I mean, it's
into
just
your yard.
And that's not something we as a dealership we never ask you to do that. No. This is me as just in general as the whole. As a whole, for the hot tub industry, the delivery crew does not get enough recognition. They've got to be the hardest working people in the industry.
Yeah, and there's a couple times I remember we had some pretty hairy deliveries scheduled, mm-hmm. and on that day, Paul, the farm dog, just so happened to have some crane deliveries going on.
Right.
And so we just lined up right when he got done with his few crane deliveries. I think he was putting a pool in the ground.
I'm sure he was.
Yep. And so then I said, well, if you got that crane for the next, half hour, let's just deliver this hot tub real quick. And we picked up a hot tub, threw it on someone's deck, and it was the easiest delivery I was a part of.
Right. So, you just held the rope as it came down.
Yeah. So maybe, setting up that delivery if a customer's okay with waiting, lining it up with when that crane is available.
And cranes are not that expensive. I mean, they truly aren't. If you think about it, I mean, if we're charging you $400 or $500 for delivery, but we end up doing a crane instead, I want to say they're $700-800. It might be a little bit more right now. Mm-hmm. But you do have to plan for them. And again, in our market, they're really hard to get a hold of. And you do have to maybe, depending on how high they have to go, sometimes they can cause a little bit of damage to your driveway. Not much. And I've sold 100 swimming pools and hundreds of hot tubs have been delivered by cranes, and I think I've seen one damage one time. And it would have got damaged anyway because the dump truck was driving over the sidewalk, and that would have broke up before the crane did. But you just got to kind of keep that in mind. But cranes are pretty good way to deliver hot tubs. I really do think so, and they're not that expensive to do so. Mm-hmm. So if you guys got a deck that it needs to get up on, like I said, we'll get it there one way or another. We'll get it there, but it's just a matter of when and how. So
part of that cost of the installation too is if you're there, that's your opportunity to ask those installers a couple questions.
Oh, for sure. In fact, we require you to be there.
Yeah.
We won't deliver without you being there because. Mm-hmm. A, we don't want to come back if we didn't put it in the right spot, and B, it is a good, and you don't get the salesman's approach when you ask the delivery guys. They're going to tell you the things that you need to know, and they're going to talk to you more in the layman's terms and be like, oh yeah, you got to do this and you got to do this, and I've seen them do this a few times. And in our location, and I'm sure this is true in Fargo these days, but in our location, we kind of do have two crews. We have a crew that does deliveries, and that's all they do, and they bang them out all day long, 4 or 5 deliveries a day, every single day, and we get 3 or 4 crews going different directions. And then we have the service team that follows up behind that if anything goes wrong or if something didn't fire up correctly. but they're two different teams, and definitely at this service is more technical and knows more stuff. And we actually, at our location, we actually have an orientation specialist that follows around after it's hooked up, and we actually like you to use it once or twice just so that we know, because if we stand out there in front of the hot tub, especially during those winter months, and you haven't used it yet, you don't hear a word we say. When I tell you got to put in this much salt or this lever does whatever, you don't hear a word we say because it's cold and you just want to get in the hot tub. Yeah. So we've actually learned that if you use it twice before we get there, then you're like, what does this do and what does that do, and you get a lot more out of it. So that's been a good thing for us, but for sure. But we do require you to be home when the hot tub gets delivered. So. So, Giovanni Franco again. Can I use the hot tub when it rains? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm 100% in my hot tub when it rains. I do have a cover over mine right now, but I've been in my hot tub. Yeah, for sure. It's and that's one of the cool things about the Cabana. When I remember the year I had a Cabana for about 4 years. And I loved being out there in the rain. It was the absolute best. But heck, I've taken umbrellas out, and you can 100% be. Now, lightning is another thing. I'm not telling anybody to ever sit in their hot tub during an electrical storm. But sit in your hot tub during the rain, sit in the hot tub during the snow. Yeah.
That's actually a pretty cool time, because that's weather that you might normally not be outside in your yard.
Right.
If it was raining, if it was snowing. So it's a pretty cool experience that way.
And for us in the in our market, our winters are so long. I mean, it's still going on. I don't know if we're ever going to see spring this year, but our winters are so long, and it's just one way to be able to be outside and enjoy that quite a bit more. And actually, it's kind of fun to be out in your hot tub in the blizzard when it's snowing. So. Jamie again, delivery crew here in UK are amazing. Don't feel bad for not tipping. That's just something if I can get out there and try to get people out there, people to do a little bit more of that. And it's just the delivery crew does need a little more love once in a while. And yes, you spend a pretty good amount on your hot tub, but it's nice to give those guys a thank as well. And Cupcake 17834 took about the delivery crew about 5 minutes to deliver, and it's only 200 pounds, so it was easy for them. Plus, the deck is low on the ground. Absolutely, and yeah, I remember Cupcake. You I think you have a mini hot tub, and that one is a little easier to deliver, which is great. But yeah, it's still they're doing it all day long. I mean, it's one on top of the other, and those boys break their backs for sure. So, I think we're all caught up with the chat. So did we do this one? What? Yeah, we did. Okay, that was our last one. Number 6. How much does a hot tub cost to run?
This is the number one question I think we get when people are first looking at it.
For sure.
When there's a lot of folks that you tell them, yeah, you keep this full and you run it all winter long. I mean, you can see it in their mind. They just start thinking about, oh gosh, a couple $100 it has to be to keep it running. That's where, oh my gosh, you drain it. But you know what? You buy the right hot tub for your climate, that's a big deal.
It's everything deal. Yeah. It's I would 100% say it. If anybody's ever been burnt by buying the wrong hot tub that's not insulated well, and live in North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, anything like that, you are 100% asking for problems down the road. I've actually had other brands in my backyard when I'm waiting for my Watkins product to show up, because I am a Watkins girl. And 3 or 4 months, and I've had hot tubs that have cost me $300 a month to run. Now there was something wrong with that hot tub, and it was good. It was in my backyard to figure that out. But it's not that bad if you buy a well insulated hot tub. It's gonna actually, I'm gonna say it's gonna cost you less than $30 a month with you using it every single night for a minimum of an hour, and January it may cost you $36, but July it's going to cost you $8. Right. I mean, it does not cost you hardly anything to run your hot tub. And that's a really, really big deal. The other thing that gets brought up a lot is, on the how much do I spend on chemical? And the salt systems are huge, and they have been just gigantic, and we cannot keep a saltwater hot tub in stock. And the big thing there is those salt cells. They are about $100 a piece. And some people are like, when you first tell them that, they're like, whoa. But they do last 3 to 4 months. And that is actually cheaper than chlorine. If you're doing chlorine correctly, meaning you're balancing your pH and your alkalinity, you're getting that stain and scale control in there so you're protecting your equipment, you're doing all that you need to do. If you use a salt system, it is going to cost you way less money to use a salt system. So, reality, if you budget, 30, you think 30's high for chemical?
I'd say that's about right.
Yeah.
When you encompass everything. Yeah.
So if you budgeted $30 a month for chemical and you budgeted $30 a month for electrical, which that's way high, on a good hot tub. Now, there are bad hot tubs out there that will cost you more than that. But if you're budgeting, $30 a month, you are totally 100% you're going to be totally fine.
Here's the next thing I think about, Jackie, when you talk about costs of a hot tub, is I think you have to take your time into consideration. Do you want to be monkeying around with that hot tub?
Right.
Every single week, or what's going to help you really make it the easiest way to use that hot tub.
Right.
And that's a big conversation to have with people, because that's another one of those boundaries that would prevent someone from using the hot tub. Gosh, I don't want to take care of it. Well, if you and I do our job right, we find the right hot tub that helps you take care of it the easiest way possible. It's just another reason to use it as often as you can.
Right. And for me, the salt is 100% the way to go. It's literally, I need 15 minutes from you a month to take care of a saltwater hot tub. Mm-hmm. You don't have to drain those once a year, and they do really, really well. And mine is always crystal clear. Always.
Funny. And you use the heck out of it.
I do use the heck out of my hot tub. It is always crystal clear. Now, I will say I have a ton of experience, and I can tell when it's starting to churn. I can just tell by smell that, something's going on, and I need to throw something in. And I do have my eye care as well, which alerts me if things start trending the wrong direction. But it's the way to go, and it's super simple, and it's that type of thing. If you're not going to do a salt system, I highly recommend the Addie's chlorine system, because again, that's a once a month, super easy program. You don't have to do a ton to it, and it just 100% takes care of the hot tub for you. But you do have to stay on top of it. It's if you let it get away from you, that's when they become work. And it's just kind of like mowing the lawn. To me, that's probably the best analogy that I can come up with. If you mow your lawn every week, it's easy. If you wait and only mow it every 6 weeks, it's a major project. And just, throw a test strip in it, check it once a week, make a minor adjustment if it needs it, and change your cartridges once a month and rinse those filters once a month. You're going to be good. That's going to take care of the program. So time is a factor that you need to figure in when you're trying to figure out how much it costs to run a hot tub. For me, time is worth more than any of the rest of it. My time is very, very valuable. I spend 3 hours a week or 3 hours a day on the highway, and the last thing I want to do is come home and be like, oh gosh, I got to work on the hot tub. It's my hot tub is very, very, very simple to take care of, and Frank's in charge of keeping the water full. That's the only thing he has to do, and I handle the rest, and it's very easy, and that makes a huge difference. So. Clean your filters. That's no matter what. Clean your filters. Especially if you live in a environment where the water freezes. Make sure you check out my video from last week about the freeze guard kit. If you do live in the market, that way you have something in your garage in case you do have issues, and probably because you didn't clean your filter. So that's it. You got anything you want to add on how much it costs to run a hot tub?
No, I think that about covers it, between the chemical maintenance, the electrical, and then I think, your time. Time is a big factor.
Yeah, and don't let your electric bill keep you from buying a hot tub, because it's nothing. You won't even know it. You won't even know it's there. So, Giovanni, do you need to shower before going into the hot tub? Well, that's up to you, I guess. I have never showered before I've went into my hot tub. I'm about ease and convenience, and ease and convenience requires me to put my hair up in a ponytail and get into the hot tub.
Yep.
So
You get the right hot tub, it's not even a problem.
So it is about having the right filtration, and the amount of water you have in your hot tub does make a big difference. If you've got a smaller hot tub and you've got like a 30 square foot filter, yeah, it might come into where you're going to have to start showering beforehand or rinsing your filters every 2 weeks versus rinsing your filters once a month. Also, if you have a 24-hour circulation pump, that's a big deal as well. So, no, I don't shower before I go in my hot tub. Nobody showers before they go in my hot tub. If I give you any advice, no street clothes in the hot tub. You do want to have a dedicated swimsuit that is for the hot tub and the hot tub only. I actually have a pile of them here because Frank thinks that the whole world should experience a hot tub. If you come to my house, you're probably going to be in my hot tub. So that was never the case until I got married and moved to Watertown, South Dakota. But Frank wants to make sure everybody knows how good it feels. So
that's a big thing too. Having the dedicated swimsuit. You know, because things can get a little funky if you're wearing the lake swimsuit in there.
Yep, for sure.
Also, the detergents in your swimsuit create some wicked bubbles, and that bothers a lot of people.
And they're hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
I mean,
you gotta physically scoop them out.
Yeah. The little trick I've learned on that is either a air blower, like a leaf blower, blow those off, or a shop vac and vacuum that foam off. Actually helps get rid of that pretty good. That's just, I can't believe I've been selling hot tubs for 30 years and just figured that out. But
I only heard one time before of a guy using a leaf blower, and I did think that was a great idea.
I tell people do it all the time now because, anti-foam is fantastic and is so fun, and the kids think it's the greatest thing in the world to put anti-foam in your hot tub. But it will, it can cloud your water and get it so cloudy that you can't clear it up. So I have one more question that I want us to answer and talk about today, and this is probably the big one. I probably should have saved more time for this, but what are the benefits of a hot tub? So if you're going to invest in a hot tub, what are the benefits of just having a hot tub in your backyard?
You know, I think some of the most important things that I've just recently started talking about when my colleagues ask me about a hot tub is, I think the biggest benefit is just time with your family, especially. And I knew this was a big factor back when I was selling them because you notice right away, you get in that hot tub, no one can have their phone in front of them.
Yep.
You know, and where on this planet now can we be without a phone? It's few places.
My hot tub is a no phone zone. Yeah. I mean, we literally, if somebody does bring their hot tub, I've got a little cabinet that sits next to the hot tub, and we make people put that on their way in because that's about conversation. And when you're talking about spending money on things, I mean, us as parents, we buy the dumbest things for our kids. We buy video games, we buy iPads, we buy cars, we buy all the things that we buy for our kids, and they're one more thing that distracts the kids from actually communicating. And if anything, kids just don't communicate in the world today. I think it's a skill that is definitely going away. And if you get them in the hot tub and you don't let them bring technology with them to the hot tub, you will be blown away. You got to give it 15, 20 minutes. You get them in the hot tub, but that fight or flight that we all have, and there's just so much more of it going on in the world today that you're in a constant state of fight or flight. How am I going to fight this, or I got to get out of this situation? And if you're in a hot tub, there's physiological reasons that are going on in your body. I mean, your muscles are loosening up, your heart rate's slowing, the blood pressure's better. I mean, just everything's going on. The endorphins are getting released. You feel better in a hot tub. You physically feel better in a hot tub. You give it 10, 15 minutes, those kids are going to start opening up. I mean, if you, the second they get in the hot tub and you're like, hey, what happened at school today? They're going to be like, yeah. But if you give them 10 minutes to just get in there, it'll. Yeah,
that's not just a coincidence.
No, it's, and have you not had the best conversations with your wife in the hot tub?
Oh yeah, it's by far the best place to catch up. Again, because there's no distractions. And The funniest thing, and I remember hearing this from Vince. He said, what's the first thing that happens when everyone gets in the hot tub? Everyone smiles. Because he says, the body knows when a good thing is happening.
Right.
You're smiling. So I started looking out for that. When everyone got in the hot tub, I just kind of looked around, and sure enough, everyone's just, they're just relaxing. They're smiling. No one's saying anything. They're just happy to be there.
Right. Well, I do think everybody says ah. I mean, and I said that to Frank, and he physically tries not to say ah when he gets in the hot tub. Like he's like, I'm not going to do it this time. He'll like tell me before he gets in the hot tub, and he gets in there, and the second he just gets all in, it's like, and sometimes he whispers it. He's like, oh. I'm like, yeah, you can't not do it. Yeah. You can't not do it. And that's Scotty Iverson, one of our sales trainers, and he's, man, if you ever get the opportunity to visit with him, he's amazing. But I'll never forget, he told us a story one time where he was over in Belgium, and he was trying to do some training, and there was a language barrier there, and he was talking about how everyone says, and they all got it like instantly. They're like, yeah, so it's such a big deal. And I mean, and let's not even even past that. I mean, some of the other benefits is just, it lengthens your muscles. It allows you to do what like I rode the bike this morning, and it was hard. I had a really hard bike ride this morning, and I honestly could have took a nap and told you not to come, but it was, I just felt so much better after I sat in the hot tub. And Frank did his workout again this morning, and we've got Sadie this week, and she wants to outdo Dad, and she did a 10-mile bike ride, and they did a mile sprint yesterday. A mile sprint. I kid you not. They sprinted a mile, and I think it took them like 8 minutes or something like that. And they crawled in the hot tub afterwards, and it just recovery. I mean, you can recover in the hot tub. You can relax in the hot tub. Talk about the end of your day, after the stressful day, and you just ready to kill somebody.
Well, that's what we talked about. It's like, what? At the end of a day, a cold beer is really good, but a hot tub doesn't leave a hangover.
It doesn't.
I always remember Vince saying that.
That's true to that.
So true. Yeah.
It doesn't leave a hangover. And you're not doing all the bad things to your body, and beer in the hot tub is actually
that's actually really good too.
That's a good way to, if you really want to, if it's a really super stressful day. But somebody said to me, putting the period on the end of no matter how good or how bad the day was, when you get in that hot tub, it's the period to the end of the day. This piece of this is over. We're moving on, and we're gonna do something else. We're done with this, and we're moving on. It's now time to relax, get ready for bed, have a good conversation. This chapter is closed. And that's a big deal. I mean, all these things are happening with this magical box of medicine that's in your backyard.
Isn't that just wild? I mean, it's hot water. That's all it is. But
it is.
I mean, it really does help people emotionally, mentally,
physically, relationally.
Yep.
Professionally, I mean, all of that.
And sometimes that's a hard message to pass on as salespeople.
It is.
That is a hard message to pass on, because it sounds like we're just throwing it out there and hoping it sticks. But it's something that they understand after they've been able to use that hot tub.
It totally is, and it's just one of those things that until you're actually using it, and using it regularly. So those of you who already have hot tubs, take that 30-day soak challenge. Use your hot tub every day for 30 days and just see how your life has improved, because it will improve your life. Use your hot tub, use your hot tub, use your hot tub. That's not such a big deal, but 20 years ago when I was selling hot tubs, they were the party tub. And the reason you bought a hot tub is you were trying to get girls or guys home after the bar to go to the hot tub. The world has changed, and everybody knows they are a wellness machine. But it's so much easier to use than your treadmill, and it does just as much good for you, if not more. It's an important thing to do, and I really recommend that you guys do that. So, but you got anything you want to add on benefits? Did we miss anything there? I know we missed a ton, but
there's a lot of benefits, but that's probably the most important part to me. Because if some of those things can kind of start falling into place, feeling better in those few ways, you imagine how much better your day is. So it's a big deal. Actually, I was again talking with a coworker. He's been thinking about getting a hot tub, but he's worried about spending all the money on it.
Right.
He's like, well, gosh, if I could put the money over here and so long I'd have this. And I said, you know what? That's true. But you're going to be missing out on a lot of smiles from your daughter.
Right.
On being able to use that and have that time with her.
Right.
And for such a curmudgeon that guy is, and if he's listening, I mean it. I think he's coming around to pulling that trigger on getting to a hot tub. I think he's just going to be relying on me to help him find the right one, which is easy.
Well, and if anybody can do it, you can for sure. Yeah. But they're a family thing, and whether you're having a good time in your family or you're going through a really rough spot with your family, having a hot tub, it's a place you can go, and it's just huge. Even we sold so many the last couple of years because people were stuck at home and they couldn't go do things. And even now, like I've sold a couple hot tubs to RV guys lately, and I'm like, well, how are you guys doing with the gas prices and all of that? And they're like, you're so lucky. He said, you're selling that product that people need in their backyards, and they need them. It's no longer they want them, they need them. And if I don't know how to express that any better, that they'll improve your life on every level.
Yeah. And you know what? An RV, you still got to pack it up, drive it out, unpack it.
Right.
Your vacation hasn't started until all the work is done.
And then you got all to unpack it. You have to undo it all.
Right.
And a hot tub, you literally go out, you flip the cover, you use it, you love it. If you don't want to do anything else to it, go to bed.
Yep.
Do it again. 15 minutes a month. If you can give me 15 minutes a month, you'll be doing absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. So, let me check in with the comments one last time, and that was a quick hour.
That was an hour already.
That was an hour already. So, Kayla says hot tub makes for the best heart-to-heart talks. Yep. No kidding. I mean, Kayla and I have had some pretty good heart-to-heart talks in the hot tub. In fact, she came up just the last 2 weeks ago to. She just had some stuff on her mind that she needed to get off her chest, and it was late, but we were in the hot tub for quite a while. And then she does say a cold beer in the hot tub is the perfect combo. So don't disagree with that in any way, shape, or form. So you guys are the absolute best, and just so you know, you guys can always reach out and sponsor me on Buy Me a Coffee on the Hot Tub Lady. Oh, and there's a new feature down below it. I don't know if it's on the live, but on the recorded videos, there's something now called Super Thanks. So if you guys are getting any value at all, that's awesome. If you guys want to hit the Super Thanks, and it goes, all that money that you guys give goes right back into the channel. I buy more equipment. I got to feel a little bit of equipment in here, don't I?
Yeah, you got a nice setup.
So every day I try to make this a little bit better for you guys. So it's just a stronger podcast, stronger everything on that. So if you guys want to do that, but you can reach me there. If you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me on Instagram, DM me there. I 100% will answer any question I get on Instagram, and that's where most of you guys find me, but reach out to me there, or if you leave me a comment down below, I answer every single comment that does come through. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, give me a 5-star review on the podcast if you guys are listening there. They're on anywhere that podcasts are sold. You can listen for free. Apple, Spotify, all those places. The podcast will be there, and that'll probably be up either later today or tomorrow afternoon. So you guys are the absolute best. I love you to death, and thanks for watching, and we will see you